got me in my zone. Yeah. Now these rappers want me on the songs. If they ain't talking about money, the plan never move along.
Welcome back, man. It's a million ways to get it. Listen, man, we got a great interview for you guys coming at you today. We got my guy, Sal Rodriguez. He owns 7 cricket stores, man. 7 cricket stores. So this is big business we're talking to. This is something major. I actually used to work for this gentleman, and he put me on a bunch of games. So I thought, why not sit down with the guy that gave me some game that kind of helped me get on the path that I'm on today. So coming at y'all today is my man Sal, Cricket Wireless, man. Let's get it.
But now we talking ownership when we talking expenses. I seen it all along.
I'm Sal Rodriguez, and I work with Cricket Wireless. I'm actually an authorized retailer. But I've been working in the mobile phone space for, I want to say 10 years. You know, I grew up in it since, a young teenager. I was messing around with phones, flip phones, walkie-talkies, doing screensavers, ringtones. And, when I was working in that, it really created this, entrepreneurial kind of mindset, right? Just with the ringtones, I was like, oh, man, I can download a ringtone for $5 and, have a couple bucks to go buy some candy with or to go out with my friends with. So, I tried to find different things, I guess, as a young age, at a young age, pretty much to make some money. You know what I mean? And it sparked this kind of drive, like, what else can I think of? Like, what else can I do? Then it went from ringtones to fixing phones to downloading music, to doing some side hustles, man, on the weekends trying to find some work. So, that entrepreneurial spirit started early. And I identify as that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm Sal Rodriguez. You'll meet me, and somehow there'll be a conversation about, hey, what kind of ideas can we come up with to, get things moving out here for you or for me, or to just have dialogue about, some hustles out there.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay. That's dope. How many stores do you currently have?
Mm-hmm. Right now, I currently actually have 7. So we started with one in 2012 out in Kennett Square. That was our first location. It was myself and a buddy of mine, and we were opening after school actually. So I was in high school. Yeah, I was 17.
Look at that.
I
high school
convinced somebody.
Entrepreneurship. That's dope.
Yeah, exactly. I convinced somebody to sign a lease for me for the commercial space. And after school, we would come open from 4 to 8. And then once I graduated in June, it went full time. And that's how the store started there. Then right now, we actually have 7 locations, 23 employees, and we're hoping to open a few more locations next year.
What do you think as going forward you would want to be getting into besides just, cell phones, and what kind of keeps you driven to keep pursuing? Because, you get the 7 stores, kind of like, I put my feet up. Most people put my feet up. I made it. I 7 stores in.
Yeah. I mean, really, man, the 7 stores, it's the first step, I feel like, for me. What I want to really be doing is building up a larger footprint for myself.
Okay.
My overall goal, and this is probably going to be the first time that I put it out there, is having 100 stores. So, we're going to go from 7 to 100 over the next few years. I haven't set a date for that yet, but that's the overall goal. And the reason being is because, I feel like people with my background and with, kind of my history, they don't really get to that level often. You don't really hear a lot of success stories of a young Latino starting, in a small town and taking off and building a national or, just a multi-state, kind of empire that way. So it'll be really cool to get to that step, I feel like. You know what I mean? Not so much just accomplishing that, but, building a team that big will be really exciting too, because I love working with people.
Oh, yeah, man. That's crazy to have that that kind of foresight for yourself and have that vision to see 7 to 100, because that's one of the things I try to preach a lot, is to not limit ourselves. A lot of times we limit ourselves to what we think we can do because of other folks and what happened with people before, some people around us. Oh, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, or they couldn't do that. I remember telling a guy my goal would be 7 streams of income. Mm-hmm. And he's like, who do you know that has 7 streams of income? And I'm like, well, I don't have to know anybody close to me to get 7 streams. If my goal was 7, that's what I'm going to get.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, and it's good to speak to other folks that have that same mind state. And like I said, being a former employee of yours, you definitely impacted me in a way that was huge for me at a time in my life where I didn't really kind of know what I was going to do. And I seen you say, "Hey, man, I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna do this. I'm doing that. We're going to this space, and I'm gonna get a ad on this space, and I'm gonna drive around and give out flyers." And you're the owner. Like a lot of folks that are the owner, they, like I said, they just come breezing through. "Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
See you later."
Yeah.
So to see you actually putting in the work and actually building, I think you had 3 stores at the time.
Yeah, 3 stores at the time. And to kind of go to that point about, dealers or just owners in general coming in and just saying hi to people, shaking hands, and then moving on, I feel like that's that's an outdated way to do business now. I feel like if I can bring value to my employees, regardless of what position they're in, I feel like that's a huge benefit, not only for them, but for me. If you build up the team around you, you become stronger, right? People have to remember that in business, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So, every time I get an opportunity to sit down with someone, earlier we were talking about reading books, right?
Right.
When you were working with me, we would talk about books and different things to read
Definitely.
to kind of, get more knowledge about different things. That type of information I try to share with everyone on my team. I try to tell them, read books, listen to podcasts, do different things, because I know that one day they might be able to teach me something. I may be the owner, but I don't know everything. You know what I mean? So we got to remember that, if you can motivate the people around you to keep learning and keep expanding their own, mindset, one day they can bring something to you and you can share ideas. That's what I find really important, and I think that everybody that has a business nowadays needs to think about that, because it's a huge benefit. You never know when something's going to come up and they're going to be able to teach you something, and that's going to be, a turning point for your business.
Niggas got me in my zone. I did this shit on my own, Just put 'em pretty
Learning from your employees. I feel like a lot of businesses are like, I'm the owner. I put this thing together. I know what's going on. You do what I tell you to do, and you just go ahead and do that. I don't want to hear your ideas on the business. I don't want to hear your ideas of how we can optimize. And for me, that is like very detrimental to your business, because these are the people that are on the ground floor every single day. When you get to go do what you're going to do and not be around the store, they're in the store every single day dealing with the operational small things that you made slip your mind because you don't have to do them throughout the daily everyday thing. So from you starting as after school guy and then going into full time, you have the full operational part kind of down. So you can remember the operational and how this may not work right, or this may not be right. But so I would say that that's major that you spoke to that, because a lot of business owners definitely needed to hear that. They needed to hear how impactful that was for me. Like, for me to want to even double back and have this conversation, because a lot of people leave a place and they don't want it. They never want to look at that place again. But like I said, I've always been one on business is business. What happens in business stays in business. That has nothing to do with me and you. As I know you, you know me. I was like, this guy's a good guy. He has a lot of gems, and right now we're halfway through this thing, and you already dropped 2 or 3 gems already. So what I would say is, what kind of advice would you give somebody that wanted to start and wanted to get into owning a franchise or franchise or authorized detailing of this sort? What kind of advice would you give to that person?
I mean, it all depends where you're starting from. You know what I mean? If you have experience, if you work different jobs, and you have kind of a background in a certain industry that you might be interested in, right? You want to look at how you can get your foot in the door. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you like for me, I knew a lot about cell phones, so I found that industry interesting. So I got my foot in the door, downloading ringtones and doing things like that. If you like cars,
right,
and you want to own a dealership one day, you want to start out by detailing cars. Even if you have to take a pay cut, or even if sometimes you have to do it for free, which happens, you want to get your foot in the door in that industry that you're interested in, and then that way you can learn about it. Because what I've seen a lot is that people try to get into an industry and they try to open a business and make a bunch of money right away.
Right.
But you have to remember that the money comes with the knowledge that you have, with the history that you have, with what you can bring to the table. If you came into a business and you don't really know much, you can't make a lot either. It makes sense. It balances out. So you want to make sure that if you're interested in something, you become an expert there. You know, be it phones, be it cars, be it houses, you know, whatever you're interested in, whatever industry you want to get into to open a business, become as knowledgeable as you can about it, and then get your foot in the door. You know, if you know a real estate agent and that's what you want to do, you want to sell houses, ask them if you can go and, you know, drive them around. Because they're always showing houses. And they get tired of, you know, driving all the time. You know, they don't want to be driving to 15 different houses 2 days out of that week. You know, ask them, hey, do you mind if I drive around with you? And if I can, come into the house and see how you sell the house. Or what you look at when you go look at these listings. You know what I mean? If you want to, you know, have a car repair shop, you know, mechanic shop. You go and you go to wherever you get your car oil changed. Hey, man, you mind if I watch how you change the oil? You know, they're going to be like, yeah, who is this guy? Why does he want to see how you change oil? You know what I mean? But that's how you get your foot in the door. Then you ask them next, hey, man, can I come in here and vacuum the cars for you so your customers have a little bit more than, you know, what you were already offering? You know what I mean? Not only is it going to make that mechanic shop look good, it's going to make you look good too. And it's a free service that you're going to offer. But guess what? Now your foot is in the door. Now when you see them fixing an engine or changing a tire or whatever it might be, you know, you're learning as you go. So they're just two like little ideas so you can get your foot in the door in two different industries there. But I mean, you got to really be creative when you're interested in something, and you have to learn as much as you can about it. You know, and if you can't do it through books or videos or podcasts, you have to, you know, actually go into that business and put in that, you know, that footwork.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
I watch a bunch of podcasts, and most of the guys that they use a term called skin in the game. Like you got to get skin in the game, and I've been being a real heavy in getting my skin in the game. So I'm becoming a big producer of content. Like, you know, trying to get my content.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, I would thank you for that influence to me to understand that it's an everyday thing. Like every day I hit you up, you're working. Mm-hmm. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you're working. And it's like, most people feel that entrepreneurship is you get the businesses off the ground and you go put your feet up. Yeah. You're just chilling. Everything's all sweet and cool. And they need to know that it's work. Like, you got to put the work into this thing. If you want this thing to work, you have to work. So what would you say to folks that about work ethic? What would you say about work ethic? How could you speak to work ethic as a person
that's a big one.
Pushing to 100 stores or with that type of mind state? Mm-hmm. What could you say to the folks about, you know, work ethic?
You know, work ethic is a big one, man. I feel like that is one of the, you know, biggest. It's kind of one of the pillars of being successful in any way. You know, be it an athlete, be it a business owner, be whatever it is that you want to do in your life. You have to create a routine. You know what I mean? That's something that you and I spoke about right before this. You know, the routine is critical. Because you got to be doing the same things, almost the same things every single day. And I'm not talking about just waking up and brushing your teeth. Right. You know what I mean? I'm talking about, there's this thing that I do that I actually learned from a guy. Do you mind if I drop the name of the guy?
Go ahead.
Okay, Andy Frisella. You know, he's an awesome guy. He's got this really cool podcast. And what he talks about is creating a power list. So in the morning, you wake up and you write down the things that you want to get done that day. And that's one of the things that I do every single day. So work ethic kind of relates back a little bit to that routine that you have. Because you have to be consistent. You know, work ethic has, you know, a piece of that is being consistent every single day, knocking those things out. And even if it's boring, even if you're tired, even if you don't want to do it that day, you have to absolutely do it. You know, and that's just part of the game. You know, if you want to be successful, that's just what you have to do. It's the sacrifice that you have to make. So you got to wake up in the morning. You got to knock those things out. You got to be, you know, consistent with it. And that creates work ethic. And not only that, but it creates confidence in you too. If you know that you're doing the right things every single day, when you walk into a meeting and they ask you about something, and you became an expert because every day you read about that subject, you won't get nervous about it. You know what I mean? That creates confidence. Right. You know, so that's what people have to remember, that work ethic is super important. If you have to do something every single day, you have to, you know, go outside and run every single day. You know, that's part of it too. That one day will come into your business life. You know what I mean? Because that's an achievement that you have. If you know that for 30 days you went outside and you did what you have to, you know, you did what you had to do, that creates confidence within yourself. So you're going to walk into a place with that confidence from those achievements that you had every single day for those 30 days. You get what I'm saying? It's like a mental thing. It's really cool. It's super interesting, and I feel like people need to keep that in mind. The consistency behind that work ethic matters too, because I've seen people go and hustle 3 days real hard and then take 2 days off or 3 days off. that doesn't get you anywhere
No.
because you lose the momentum that you already had from those 3 days. So you want to keep that consistency behind that, hustle. If you have to lower those days down from 12-hour days to 10-hour days or to 8-hour days to keep that consistency, then that's what you have to do. You have to find your own strategy to be successful, that fits your lifestyle and how you're running your days and how you're living your life. So I mean that's my 2 cents there with work ethic.
No, I love it because you definitely that what was really powerful for me was you saying you have to do it your own way. Mm-hmm. And that's Million Ways to Get It is literally about doing it your own way. Like, I'm telling you, it's a million ways to make it happen, because from having a job to owning a business to whatever you're trying to do, you have to be you. You have to know what you want to do. You have to have that drive, that determination, that focus, that I'm going to write this down and I'm going to get this done. Like, every day, I know I need to create content. So I know every single day, regardless of what I have on my mind, regardless of what I have on my plate, regardless of what I'm thinking about outside of A Million Ways to Get It, A Million Ways to Get It has to be happening every single day. Mm-hmm. Because in the business model that I'm entering in, and how you are successful in this world is content. You have to have the content. The content is key. So going forward, I know we spoke about how many stores you wanted and things like that. Going forward, how you do plan to diversify? Because I know that's a big thing for myself, is diversifying and being able to optimize myself in other different type of markets. Are there any other markets that you're looking to get into besides just cell phones? Is there any other thing you're looking to do besides just that? Yeah,
I think that's a really good point. And I'm glad that you're following that, man, because diversification is super important. You know what I mean? If you don't want to open more businesses, I feel like you should invest in something else. You know what I mean? Or partner up in something. And for me personally, man, I love cell phones. Mm-hmm. I love the industry. Technology is like a great business.
Right.
But I also, I'm interested in diversifying, and I actually moved into the real estate space.
Okay.
Started
That's
in 2018.
Major. Okay.
Yeah, and then 2019 added another property. It's buy and hold properties. But for 2020, I'm going to be, working on 3 flips. That's my goal right now.
That's
you pick up a property, rehab it, and then flip it. So that's another industry that I'm super interested in. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity out there, and there's a lot of people to learn from. And it's just exciting, man. I mean, if you have like an entrepreneurial spirit, man, and you find something you're interested in, you dig into it. You bite into it and you run with it, and you try to become a sponge and consume as much as you can about it. So I find it super exciting. That industry is something that I can do anywhere.
Yeah.
Not only here in Pennsylvania, if I decide to go to California one day, which would be cool, living on the beach, you can still do the same thing out there. Or you go to Texas, anywhere. I mean, that industry is available to you.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really, a real big opportunity for me. I'm going to move more into that. I'm going to be buying every few years a couple properties, holding them, renting them, and I'm going to be flipping at the same time. So, that's another thing that I'm working on right now. So, yeah, man, that's what it is.
That's huge. That's huge. That's huge for me, and it should be huge for everybody out here watching. If you're getting a chance to check this out, please, I want you, if you don't get anything else from this, understand this. This person is already successful at one situation where he could not have to think about anything else. But he's found another need that he can fill. Cell phones is a need that's not going anywhere. People are always going to need cell phones. Housing is somewhere. It's not going anywhere. People are always going to need to live. So if you don't get anything else from anything I show you in any of these videos, is find a need and fill it. Mm-hmm. This man is 100% found 2 major needs and filling 2 major needs. You don't have to worry about money forever. That's something you have to think about.
And now we up paying the cost to be made and the cost to be great.
First, I just want to thank everybody for just supporting me through the journey. Thank you, Sal, for sitting down with me and spending some time with me and really diving into your business and diving into where you want to go forward and giving people some game and some insight on something that a lot of us are interested in. Like how do you even start doing that? And you just gave them a lot of good stuff. You started in high school, so if this grow 30-year-old folks or whatever can't go and figure it out, some other things you got to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's a million ways to get it, and I definitely want to thank everybody for showing love and support. And then, once again, this is a ZT production. My guy on the production has been showing me major love. And anything you want to say, anything you want to get out before we roll, you plug the business, whatever.
Yeah.
What location we're at, all that good stuff. All your names, where they can find you at, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so the business is Cricket Wireless. We're out here in the Downingtown location. So if anybody wants to pop in, we're here Monday through Saturday from 10 to 8, Monday through Friday, on Saturday from 10 to 6, and Sunday we're closed. My Instagram's elevated_0. I put content on there on my Instagram story all the time, little nuggets that I find throughout the day. I got to be more consistent because the content is king, like you say.
Content is king.
But definitely, I'll drop something on there for you once in a while so you can, kind of see what's happening behind the scenes out here too. And anything that I learn, I love sharing it. But, for anybody that's looking to open a business, because I know that's what some of the demographic that you have with this podcast has to do with, really just get out there, hustle, do it, and execute. In my life, the most important word to me is execute. You got to go out there, you have to do it, you got to hustle, don't think about it, just go out there, expose yourself, you have to fail, you got to get back up, and you got to keep going.
All right, man. It's a million ways to get it. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'll see y'all soon.
They know what's up. They know it's us. Act like you didn't, but I bet your bitches noticed us. This game been free. Rappers been owing us. For us the cards, I came in with the royal flush. Got it popping on my own.